Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, lords, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Chamber of Shipping dinner. 2 months ago, the world's political leaders came together in Paris to discuss world climate change. A great paradox of the modern world is we need limitless energy to power our lifestyles and grow our economies. And yet we know the overuse of fossil fuels is causing harm to our planet. As a world, we're interdependent in our energy needs, but we've been uncoordinated in our efforts to tackle the climate change we all face. It's why the Paris Agreement is so important. We all know that if you want global trade, if you want open markets and greater prosperity, then you need a shipping industry. But so, too, do we recognize it's not possible to move 90% of the world's trade without having some impact on the environment. But the Paris Agreement didn't really look at the shipping industry. We were filed away in the drawer, marked too difficult. Perhaps if Oscar Wilde had been alive today and working at the Chamber of Shipping, his commentary might well have been that for shipping, there's only one thing worse than being mentioned in the Paris Agreement, and that is not being mentioned. And that is more or less how the industry reacted. As a result, ahead of the IMO MEPC meeting in April, there was feverish activity to come up with an industry plan. The responsibility for this and for the environment falls on all of us. We have to take the initiative and together with the IMO, develop a realistic and convincing strategy. It might well include market-based measures that will allow us to offset emissions and fund new technological advances. And we finally need to get round to the idea, that element of the strategy, of setting aspirational emissions targets. And we can't deny or escape it, but only by having some form of target will shipping be able to demonstrate its significant achievements. And taking the initiative will demonstrate who we are. But if we're going to say we're one of the world's most important industries, we have to accept the responsibilities come with it, on carbon as on everything else. And that includes providing leadership when things are not going well, and they're not going well for many sectors of the shipping industry at the moment. It's written here that we're all old enough to have seen the peaks and troughs of economic cycles, but looking around the room, I trust that some of you might not, but it's always difficult the first time. And as we sit here tonight, we know there are profound challenges ahead. The drop and the enduring drop in the oil price, although tanker owners are still smiling, declining freight rates in many sectors, and difficult security conditions. And they're all factors made worse in the knowledge that they're largely out of our own control. So when we find issues that are within our control, it's all the more important that we rise to the challenge. So let's be honest, we have too few British seafarers and a flag that's still in decline. Those are the facts, and it's all too easy to avoid the real issues and allow the conversation about the future of our industry to descend into myth and cliche. How many dinners like this have we been to where people have talked of the need to encourage more young people into the industry and how that will fix all our problems? Whilst ignoring the fact that many of our companies have hundreds, if not thousands of people applying for their cadet programs each year. The truth is, we have many young people wanting a career at sea. Our problem is, we don't have enough opportunities for them. We talk about the UK as a maritime, world maritime leader, but if businesses are leaving the red ensign, perhaps they no longer agree. Still, people say that all we need to do is to promote ourselves better, but that's not all. Everyone knows we're here. Everyone knows what we have to offer. But many companies still choose to take their business elsewhere. And sending them leaflets or turning up at a networking conference is not going to make them change their mind. Real, tangible reform will. If we become more attractive, then these companies will find out about it. If we change, they will come. And I want this country to again be the world leader in maritime services. So we need a ship register that we can be proud of. We need standards to be maintained, but levels of customer service to improve substantially. We need an MCA that actively courts new business, that's a champion for you and for UK PLC. One that's hungry for the next big success, ambitious and focused in pursuit of growth. I pay tribute to the Minister and the Department for Transport for the Maritime Growth Study. You've made a good start in these past few months, and we're on the right path towards meaningful reform. But believe me when I say we will not stop prompting you until ship owners in the world look to the UK and see the UK flag as one of the future. And when they get here, they will see we have some of the best business services and they will use them. And they will see we have the most highly trained seafarers graduating from the most forward-thinking colleges, and they will take advantage. But if we're to cure the problem of the steady decline of British seafarers, we need to invest heavily. Gone are the days of tinkering with smart funding. If we are genuinely serious about training more British seafarers, we need smart funding not just to increase, but to double. Yes, Minister, you heard me. We'd like it to double. And I say to you, Minister, respectfully, if the Department for Transport can find 50 billion to spend on HS2, roads and local transport, I hope you can find another 15 million to train the next generation of world-class seafarers. But I accept wholly that the responsibility for refreshing and rebuilding this country's global position is not the government's alone. We have a profound responsibility too. If you speak to national journalists, politicians, or indeed members of the public, they'll tell you of their sadness at the decline of true, homegrown British ownership in the shipping world. Our openness to international investment is one of the great things about our economy, but the need to boost British ownership and back entrepreneurs is clear. During London International Shipping Week last year, which signals a huge sort of sign of confidence in the UK, one of the Chamber team was talking to an owner of a startup company. He had one ship and was seeking to finance a second. And he was saying how ambitious he was, how excited he was about creating jobs for local people. But he was exasperated at the time it took to get to grips with complex regulations and bureaucracy. So there he was, a one-man band today, but with little support, potentially a major ship owner of tomorrow, who was spending more time getting his head around the regulatory minefield than he was about growing his business. Well, the Chamber understands that minefield. They give advice on it every single day. So I believe we have a responsibility to that company and the many ambitious small companies like it. That's why I can announce tonight that the Chamber will be giving free membership for 1 year, sorry, not 1 day. One day was the idea of the finance manager, but Guy managed to talk him round. And we'll give that membership for 1 year to all startup British shipping businesses. So if anyone wants to take the plunge, they will have the regulatory and policy expertise of the Chamber at their disposal. So they can concentrate on the things that really matter: growing their business, creating jobs, and boosting UK PLC. Things like this may only make a small difference, and I accept that. But it's a start, and it shows us giving our commitment to the cause. So to sum up, the shipping industry faces some major challenges with environment and air emissions right at the centre. The UK can play a key role influencing if we can demonstrate leadership in our domestic arena. We can boost our flag presence. We can fund more training of the next generation. And the Chamber will do its bit to foster entrepreneurs and startups. Working together, with your talent, ideas, and energy, we'll provide the foundation for a renewed, revitalised, world-class maritime nation. Let's make it happen. Thank you.